Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025, where things have already have gotten a very crazy start globally. Just off, just pretty much having spending a good time with my family. Pretty much one of my last days of spending my time with the family together before we split ourselves off for those of mine that have to go overseas, while others residing here in the country are pretty much going to be split off to our work and whatever. There's been a lot of crazy stuff from the craziness that's happening in the US to some of the things that is happening at home here in South Africa, despite being already like as of now, of this video, 11 days into 2025, things are just going so far, so quickly. But amongst all of the enjoyment, horror, shock, and all that kind of stuff, I do hope that each of you, so far, despite the craziness and also things to come from whether it is in the west or in the east side of the globe, hopefully that you guys are pretty much doing yourselves okay, basically. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing yourselves okay, and more importantly, that you are pretty much already on the run in your 2025. So in this video, what I wanted to do, it was actually something that I wanted to do last year in 2024, but like what I promised, but since I couldn't be able to keep it up, um, because again, family and all that kind of stuff, I just decided that might as well just do this video in just opening up pretty much in a form of gratitude, basically, as we are already into the year of 2025. And typically, your time of gratitude is also your time of reflection, and that's basically at the end of the year. But I'll pretty much be the one to dictate how my life goes, um, and obviously at the beginning of the year, for me, it will pretty much be my way of sharing my gratitude as to how things went last year in 2024, and more importantly, the people that I have met, trained, if I can put it that way, as well as impacted and worked alongside with, basically. So it is really, it is really going to pretty much be a very important video, and I hope that I'll pretty much keep things nice, short, and sweet, but more importantly, be um, a little bit more just visually, just to take it all in, not only for myself, but also to share my um, feelings of gratitude to those of you who's watching this journal. So, with that being said, let's talk about what I'm grateful for. Well, the biggest and most important thing that I'm grateful for, apart from like family, being with God, building things, and also teaching people, the biggest thing that I'm pretty much very grateful for is tr- I was gonna say training, but it's actually not the right word for it. A little bit more extreme, but definitely justified in this case is raising and working alongside with the people that I have raised. And by raise, I'm talking about like not only just training people in like the path of like innovation, coding, and robotics. So we're talking about like your from programming with your microcontrollers to doing 3D design, CAD design, basically, um, to teaching them how to network with your local communities and to deploy their prototypes. but also on a more like I would say personal. I would say like even on a more personal level, basically like getting to know people on a much more personal level, understanding where they're coming from, their strengths, their weaknesses, their backgrounds, what is their lives like outside of me interacting with them. Really, it's has been quite an honor and also a massive privilege to have a group of people who would dedicate their time, effort, energy, and money from time to time to being trained or mentored, and in this case, being raised by me. This actually goes to the Makers Club, more specifically the S&G Makers Club here in Durban. So, for those who may not know or is pretty much their first time hearing about it. The SMG Makers Club is pretty much a club filled with people that are pretty much youth. So we're talking about people between the ages of 18 to 35 years old who are very interested or enthusiastic about technology, from coding or programming to hardware coding, embedded systems programming to like building things and also the occasion, but also not the occasion, but but we would like to prefer to keep it occasionally, breaking things as well, basically, and more importantly, just be able to take what you have as an idea in your head, or more importantly, the problem that you have seen that you believe that a hardware or software solution you can be able to build it and provide it as a solution, but you do not know where to start. You do not know either which books to read or which material or resources that you can be able to find on the internet. And even when you do, the the first step is always the hardest when it comes to like learning the particular thing. And when it comes to learning the particular thing, it becomes a very overwhelming like situation where you don't have to only learn just this one thing in order for you to make your idea into reality, but you got to learn this one thing which is related to this, which is related to that, and to that, and to that, and it becomes so overwhelming. So for people who are very interested and passionate about like using 4IR, using these core technologies that we have around us, IoT, robots, mechanical devices, devices of the sorts, but just do not know where to put their footing in. The Makers Club is here for that, for you, those of you between the ages of 18 to 35, basically. And so, as much as I want to pretty much go more in depth in regards to the history as to how the Makers Club actually came to be and all that kind of stuff, maybe perhaps in a much more later video or later down the line in the year, I can be able to just share some tidbits in regards to the origins of it. But um, the most important thing is that what I've just explained was pretty much like the problem that I have came across, and more importantly, a lot of people within my age range, within my age, would pretty much come and actually tell me of their stories and of their ideas and how far they've come into like either from like sketching a design to like building an actual prototype, and they want to refine it, and they just do not know exactly what would be the next step, basically. So pretty much on behalf of the company that I am working for, that is Alga at Work, with our partners who have chipped into this program. The Makers Club was born, and I pretty much have received a lot of astounding people that do not only have ideas, but also they're willing to actually put in the time and the commitment, basically. This in and of itself, when the Makers Club got launched in 2024, in April specifically, uh, I pretty much had like my my unexpected up and downs with my makers basically, because it was kind of like this is pretty much a very new thing, although it's not that new, but it's a very it's I would call it pretty much a very unorthodox, unstructured way as to how, excuse me, how one has to like mentor like from 10 to 20 makers at a time, especially when you're trying to get like either to drum up some form of excitement for one, and for two, to actually show them and to pretty much bear witness for themselves how much they've been progressing when they've been in the club basically. And so it it's pretty much with that it's one of the main reasons why I'm actually very grateful for the formation of the Makers Club, particularly the Makers Club in Durban and the other Makers Club in Johannesburg, that is being held there, and also a potential Makers Club happening in the province of Limpopo as well. But the thing is that the makers themselves, they've really pulled themselves through in 2024. Like I am talking about makers where we would pretty much have like scheduled Saturdays within the month, typically 2 Saturdays within the month, because again, these are youths, these are young adults, and therefore they have their own lives. Um, but even despite the fact that they had their own lives, they would pretty much commit themselves to even coming in the weekdays, um, in the lab, where we would pretty much meet up, and also my workspace, which is at Regent Business School, in the Durban branch. But the makers would pretty much find the time to actually come and meet with me and have either personal consultations with me with regards to their learnings or with their ideas, to pretty much having the entire group come in for like a maker session that is not within the Saturdays. And yeah, it actually got me into a lot of trouble from time to time. No joke. I was pretty much in a bit of an existential crisis um, in regarding to how much time I've been putting my time and effort into the makers rather than doing the actual work that I've been taught to do, which was in and of itself a crisis, so to speak. But with a crisis like that, and as well as the amount of sacrifice, which I am willing to admit, there was a lot of sacrifice within my own time and also effort and also resources, so to speak. I really do thank God that through my willingness to see this first group of makers to become makers like myself, I've actually not only gotten, again, the privilege to only just raise them and mentor them, but to actually work with them on certain projects, to pretty much work with them on things that we can be able to build, like prototype solutions that we can be able to build and deploy within our local community, um, in Durban, basically. And more importantly, it just gave the makers like confidence, like after they started like winning competitions and the such, to actually go out there and to pretty much do things that even I would never even ask them of like doing, because in the Makers Club we also teach you how to like utilize your resources and your skills and your talents, and also how to better network and communicate and all of that kind of stuff, which really when they started taking it up for themselves, I was like, wow, just mind blown. And the things that they would come back to me with, from texting me like at midnight to 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, showing me of their progress of their projects to like telling me that they're hooked up with or they pretty much like set up meetings with this person and with that person and they would like to see exactly what the makers are doing in the Makers Club. Basically, it's really just amazing. And the things that they were able to build, it's kind of like a stark contrast between where they have started and where they are right now. And so this is actually something that I'm really grateful for, really. So with that, it kind of, I just really, first of all, just thank God that Um, he has given me people that are not only interested but are very committed to turn their interest and their enthusiasm into actual skills, into actual competencies and skills that they can be able to use to build for themselves. But more importantly, to have the discipline and the ability to work with each other and to coordinate with each other, that they really have proven themselves and are pretty much worthy of note to call themselves not just makers but actual innovators, basically. So I believe that in 2025, um, I believe that it will pretty much be the year where the Makers Club, particularly here in Durban, it will get to grow more. I'm expecting for more members um, to come through. So for any of you who are in Durban, just I either search up for Albert work or look for me on LinkedIn and just message me and I can give you some of the details or just go through Albert work and they'll give you some of the details. But more importantly, um, more importantly, for 2025, I do expect that for these makers to pretty much become like myself, to take on the positions and roles of being coaches and mentors to the next set of makers that are going to be coming into the club and to pretty much refine on their projects that they have deployed last year, to become commercially ready. In this case, getting to the level of level 5 when it comes to technological readiness level, or TRL for short, and also to get more people to fund or to donate or to sponsor. So then so the technologies and the projects that they have built will pretty much become a reality. And when it becomes a reality, that solution will turn itself into a full-on business, which is something that um, our good work, the job, the company that I'm working for, as well as all of its partners, are ecstatic to look forward to, not only for the ones here in Durban, but also in Johannesburg and also in the province of Limpopo. But really, all I can really say is just thank you to all of the makers, to whoever the makers may be watching this journal, just to really say thank you. And more importantly, I will be um, taking some videos and pretty much posting some of our projects onto my social medias to just spread the word of exactly the excellent job that you guys are actually doing for yourselves and building yourselves up as disciplined um, innovators and leaning towards engineers, basically. But really, my only hope is that not only you would find success in the projects and in the projects, or much rather the solutions that will turn into investable products or services, that will turn themselves into a business. But more importantly, that you pretty much take on or assume the role of a mentor like I've been to you guys, and you pretty much train the next maker that comes into the club or the next person who's interested but do not know where to start. You have gone through the problems yourselves that you do not know where you need to go, and you do not know who to turn to. But when you came through the Makers Club and we worked together to find what's best suited for you, you were able to be prolific in what you were able to do. And I hope that you can be pretty much do the same to the next maker that would come into our club, basically. So, with that being said, thanks so much for watching through my journal. Thank goodness it's a lot more less than the other journals that I've posted. Although I still need to keep that mark between 10 to 15 minutes, but maybe I should just bump it up to 15 to 20 minutes because these journals tend to be tend to be quite long because of the way how I express myself. But it's with that being said, yeah, I am going to be posting more of exactly what the makers are doing so then you guys can have a very better idea of exactly what the Makers Club curtails basically. And more importantly, just to showcase the amazing work that these makers here in South Africa, particularly in Durban, are actually doing and to just promote them because who knows? It will pretty much make it will pretty much make it to the point where it may be they full on careers or they can be able to become full-fledged facilitators in coding and robotics or they can be able to take it up a notch and study in university to further progress their skills basically. That all pretty much depends on them, but my job right now is just to pretty much promote the work that they're doing and also to just give thanks to them. So with that, guys, thank you for listening or watching through my journal and talking about these amazing makers in the Makers Club. And yeah, hope to pretty much see you, or much rather hope that you would watch my next upcoming video the next time. But with that, you have yourselves a very good day and goodbye.